What's up, everyone? Today there's a Simpson pressure washer here. Should be 3000 psi, 2.4 gallons a minute. Problem is a couple things. It doesn't want to start. Filter looks good. The oil is very low though. That's a little worrisome part. And with pressure washers, but the good thing is it is at 190, so that's good. The pump likes to go out on them pretty routinely. It doesn't really freeze all that bad here, but the times it does freeze, if you leave these out in the shed, it could crack the pump if you don't properly put it away. So I think we're going to first look at the motor, see if it's a good motor. It is a 190, so that's good. If it runs, I could put it on something else. Who knows? But if it doesn't, then we know we don't even have to bother with it. So let's start off and test for compression. Okay, it's on off, so even if it did run, which I know it doesn't, it shouldn't start. Yeah, it's good compression. I think I'm going to look at the filter again. It smells like gas, and it did that. That's where the entry of the throat to the carb is. I'm thinking maybe it overflowed. The needle's bad, maybe. Is the fuel on? Yes. Is there fuel in the tank? Yes. Okay, maybe not. It could just be, just normal usage. It doesn't smell like it though. Let's give it a quick kick. So choke off. Ooh, I know. I'm gonna put a little oil in there first. I had to put about 4 ounces in there. It doesn't sound like a lot, but we only put like 14 or 16, 12. I forget exactly how much this takes, but it's a decent percentage. Give it a try. It's just carb cleaner. It should run on it. Okay, well, it runs. I think we have the good old carburetor problems. I'm sure this is probably like the 100th time you've seen this, but let's just do it anyway. Practice makes perfect, right? Right. And we're turning the fuel off. Okay. If it wants to. There we go. Turning the engine off. There we are. Disconnect the breather tube. There we go. It's the non-adjustable type of carb, but it does have these posts in there. Usually don't see those. Guess that makes it like impossible to over rev it. Well, not very likely to over rev it. These fuel clips for Hondas are not very strong, so I don't even bother and take them down. There we go. Okay. Let's take it over to the carb station. I'm trying to avoid having my hands cover things as much as possible, so I'm trying to get used to always having extension on there. It's a dash of water in there. A little overkill, but it's okay. Pretty clean. Could be better. I mean, it's not horrible. I think. Yeah, just seeing that collect on the bottom. That discolored area is all water. It shouldn't really be enough to cause it to not run. Maybe not run very well. You could probably get away with just blowing it out. Nah. What's going on? Okay, good. So, word of advice. Go to your discount aisle of your hardware store. Go to Amazon. Find a screwdriver that's cheap, whatever. Just find a cheap screwdriver and grind down the ends. Because they have these little flutes on the side and it's too wide, so I just kind of make it flat. And then most of these carburetors are all the same, like jet size, I want to say. Like the slot in them is basically all the same. So if you can get one fitting good, it will work for like 80%, and the others you'll have to work on. Okay. We have our JIS screw here. Wow. Okay, I'm going to dip this in the cleaner and we'll see you after everything's out of the cleaner. Let's put that back in. And during the fuel, there wasn't any more water. That was the color. That is what I like to call lottery fuel. But the unfortunate thing is, unlike the normal lottery, when you win, you don't really win. That fuel probably would work. Probably. But here's the thing. I don't know when it will be uploaded, but it's like the middle of January now. Not many people are going to be pressure washing their houses, driveways, whatever they need to pressure wash. until May, April. Let's see here. I think technically, where I live, I have a problem. In April, it's warmer. It's not frozen anymore. It never really gets frozen, but there's always a possibility of it freezing. But even if it does, it's usually freezing for like a day or two. But usually like the first week of April, you are completely out of that risk. If you don't use it by then, that water refuel, the odds go into a lot more of your favor of it not running again. So I'm just going to take it out like I did and put some non-ethanol that I know will last if it does have to wait until April, May, June. It'll be fine. Okay, so when I blow it out, I blow out through the jet. If there's one over here, I blow through there as well. I try to stick it in as far as I can in these little areas, and obviously throughout the entire bowl. I didn't wash the bowl, but it was pretty clean on the inside, and the outside wasn't all that bad. So I would say we are ready to be installed. Oh yeah, they're rambling about the pressure washer dates. So even though in April it's not frozen anymore, you could probably get away with it, not have to worry about your hose freezing or something like that. You might get rained out. April is the definition of April showers bring May flowers. It showers a lot here, so you might be able to get it out there one day, but you might get soaked and not from your pressure washer. Put it all together. Everything works. Let's turn on the gas. Now, oops, I put enough fuel in there to basically be able to power wash one of those old style Mini Coopers. Not a lot. So, let's see here. Yeah, let's check. Everything looks dry. I didn't change the plug yet. I did put a new filter in. Has new oil. And hopefully we're ready to go. So let's go ahead and give her a yank. It's on. Well, that's good news. So at least the motor's good. So I'll put a new plug in there. And at least we'll have that. And this stand. The bad news is it's dark outside. So I think I'm going to finish this tomorrow, but for you, it's just going to be a click. Okay, good news, bad news. One, I decided to put all my quick connects on there, and then I ran the hose through there just to clean out the junk if there was any dirt. It's old, probably has some nasties in there. Didn't want to clog up my hose, so I put my air compressor, blew it all out, and then I put the hose on, blew out all the stuff with the hose. Fine. Put everything on, and the next thing I know, I look down and there's a decent amount of oil on my driveway. But it's building pressure. I let it run for about 5 seconds, and I look down, there's a decent amount of oil there. Obviously there's oil here. Excuse me. So I look up. I don't know if that's just missing, or it's just so degraded that it just fell off. I don't feel one up there. So, I don't know, but it needs a new oil seal, otherwise it's going to keep on happening. I don't want to run it without oil, obviously, so I might have one. If not, I'll have to order it. It's only like $6, so I guess we'll find out. I don't know if this is a aftermarket pump. I do not think so, but that key is like ramming itself into the seal, or at least where the seal should be. That could be their cause of our problem. So right now, I'm just going to remove the pump. There's 1, 2, 3 bolts from the looks of it. And then we'll go ahead, take it off. I'm going to strap this down to the actual cart. That way the engine doesn't fall off. So 2 things. 1, if you're going to do this, sorry about the noise in the background, but if you're going to do this, you're going to want to do the bottom ones first and then the top one. I'm not going to ratchet it down because I just don't feel like it, but that way the pressure isn't on the bottom ones, it's on the top. It just makes it a little even. And 2, someone's definitely been doing here before us, because this is reversed up here as well as right there. So I think someone was the cause of this problem, not something. Yeah, that was definitely the problem. The side, it's a little hard to tell, but right here was pressed in pretty hard and it was really easy to slip in like a pick and just pulled right out. So that's where it's been leaking. Just gonna remove all the little bits until we get to a clean bearing. Looks like it's pretty much there. There we go. Okay. So now we have a Honda one here. There's the part number. I think this works on 160s, 190s, and 120s. I don't quite remember the exact ones, but yeah, that's the part number. We're just going to open it up and get it installed. For these, I do like to put a thin coating of oil on them. Inside and out. This isn't too hard to put in. Just gonna go ahead and kind of play with that real quick. Just have a piece of pipe here. I think it's like 1/4 inches or something. You don't want to damage it, obviously. You just want to slowly tap it in. Sometimes if it gets like this, you just want to give a little persuasion with the actual hammer. I think there's a tool for this, but I don't have it. Well, I'm sure there is, I should say. You just want to make sure it's nice and even. This side's a little high. And there we are. So, I'm going to put it back on. It's just a couple screws, or excuse me, bolts, and then we will put some oil in it because I'm sure it's low. This is probably the reason why it was low when we first got it too, just leaking out the entire time. And then we'll give it a quick pull, and then we should be ready to go. Okay, good news, bad news. Good news is all fit right. I made sure the key was good to go. We are set. Bad news is my hose, one way or another, something cut it and it's leaking pretty badly. I noticed that yesterday when I was using my own pressure washer, and fortunately that's the only hose I have. I have another one in order, but I want to give this a try now, because if it doesn't work, then there's no point in buying this one. So what I did notice is that when I first started doing this, it left a fairly significant puddle pretty quick, and if I let it sit for 5-10 minutes, there'd be more oil pooling underneath it. So I'm going to let it run for about 10 seconds or so without water connected to it. It will be fine, it's not going to ruin it. And then we'll look at the bottom of it, see if we see any oil. Then we'll put it down for a good couple minutes and we'll see if there's any oil. I expect there's going to be a little bit just because there might be a little oil left on the pump that I couldn't clean or didn't see or whatnot. So I don't expect there to be perfectly clean, but I don't expect there to be a lot. I mean, there was a pool of oil underneath it, and it left like a streak when I was bringing it back to put it back on the cart too. So it's a very significant hole or leak. So let's turn it on and we'll see what happens. It's been on its side, so I expect there to be a decent amount of smoke. Okay, well, we got water coming out, so we know the pump is good, so that's fine. Yeah, let's let it sit for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, and we'll take a look on the bottom. It's been about 20 minutes later, not a single drop I can see. That's just water. That came out of the pump when I turned it on, so I'm not going to worry too much about water in a pressure washer pump. But yeah, it seems to be fine now. I don't see any more leaking. When looking at the shaft, I don't see anything dripping down like I did before. And yeah, I think when I get my new wand, I'll still double check this before going back to its owner, or new owner, I guess. But yeah, this should be taken care of. I don't see any potential problems anymore. So, okay, if your Honda engine is leaking a profuse amount of oil, or a substantial amount of oil, then check that oil seal. It might be bad, like this one was. Okay, if this helped you out, put a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, put a thumbs up. Leave a comment below, and definitely subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good night.